Got your scraper, shaker, or drum? Awesome. So you're just going to play a nice steady beat as we do our song. I'm going to show you first the chorus part that we'll be singing all together. Now, what I teach you is just the first part. We add on every single time, but the melody stays the same, so you'll understand how that works here in just a minute. The first time through, it goes like this. The tree was in the hole, and the hole was in the ground, and the green grass grew all around and around, and the green grass grew all around. Could you try that with me? Ready? Here we go. Ready, sing. The tree was in the hole, and the hole was in the ground, and the green grass grew all around and around, and the green grass grew all around. Okay, now, every verse you're going to be my echo, and in the verse I'm going to tell you something else to add on to the story of what's happening in the song. You have to remember it with me, and we're going to add it on to that chorus part. You'll see what I mean as we go. All right, be my echo, please. Oh, in the woods there was a tree, the prettiest little tree that you ever did see. And the tree was in the hole, and the hole was in the ground, and the green grass grew all around and around, and the green grass grew all around. Now on that tree there was a branch, the prettiest little branch ground, and the green grass grew all around and around, and the green grass grew all around. Now on that feather there was a bug, the prettiest little bug that you ever did see. And the bug was on the feather, and the feather was on the wing, and the wing was on the bird, and the bird was on the egg, and the egg was in the nest was on the twig, and the twig was on the branch, and the branch was on the tree, and the tree was in the hole, and the hole was in the ground, and the green grass grew all around and around, and the green grass grew all around. Now on that bug there was a germ, the prettiest little germ that you ever did see. And the germ was on the bug, and the bug was on the feather, and the feather was on the wing, and the wing was on the bird, and the bird was on the egg, and the egg was in the nest was on the twig, and the twig was on the branch, and the branch was on the tree, and the tree was in the hole, and the hole was in the ground, and the green grass grew all around and around, and the green grass grew all around. One more. Now on that germ there was a smile, the prettiest little smile that you ever did see. And the smile was on the germ, and the germ was on the bug, and the bug was on the feather, and the feather was on the wing, and the wing was on the bird, and the bird was on the egg, and the egg was in the nest was on the twig, and the twig was on the branch, and the branch was on the tree, and the tree was in the hole, and the hole was in the ground, and the green grass grew all around and around, and the green grass grew all around. Woo-wee! Did you make it through that? That's a crazy song, but it's super fun to see if I can remember it all, and if you can remember it all too. Hope you had fun. Remember this song? It's a really fun one. If you have a scarf or a washcloth or a tissue or something you can use like that, great. If you really want to challenge, use a ball. I left my scarves at school, so I don't have any at home, so I'm going to use this ball and hope I do okay. We're going to be warming up and singing our song Plainsies, Clapsies. So if you recall, on Plainsies, it's just a toss-up and a catch. On Clapsies, it's a clap and catch. On twirl around the backsies, you have to twirl around while you toss it up and catch it. And then right hand, just your right hand. Left hand, just your left hand. Toss it high. Oh, I hit my light. Toss it high. Don't hit your ceiling. Toss it low. Touch your knee, touch your toe, touch your heel, and through you go. Underneath your leg, just like that. Ready? Here we go. Plainsies, clapsies, twirl around to backsies. Right hand, left hand, toss it high, toss it low. Touch your knee, touch your toe, touch your heel, and through you go. Great job reviewing that song with me. Now, I'm going to put some symbols on the screen for you, and you tell me what they mean. What does this fancy looking F stand for? That's right, forte. And forte means what in Italian? Loud. Yes, forte is loud. So let's sing our Plainsies, Clapsies. Forte. Ready, sing. Plainsies, Clapsies, twirl around to backsies. Right hand, left hand, toss it high, toss it low. Touch your knee, touch your toe, touch your heel, and through you go. Great job. I kind of got soft on low because I forgot that we were supposed to be singing forte. All right, hopefully you stayed loud the whole time. What about this symbol? What does this word mean? Allegro, allegro. It's not a dynamic, right? We sang a dynamic, which was loud. This is actually a tempo marking. And allegro means fast. That's right. Are you ready to do it fast? 1, 2, here we go. backsies, twirl around to backsies, right hand, left hand, toss it high, toss it low, touch your knee, touch your toe, touch your heel and through you go. Could you keep up? Did you lose your ball or your scarf? I know, it's hard to keep track of sometimes, right? Okay, so that was allegro. What about this symbol? What does this tell us to do? That's right, that fancy looking P means piano, which is soft or quiet. Let's sing it soft and quiet, here we go. Plainsies, clapsies, twirl around to backsies, right hand, left hand, toss it high, toss it low, touch your knee, touch your toe, touch your heel and through you go. Great job singing softly with me. Piano. Okay, what's this last term mean? Largo. What is largo? That's right. It's another tempo marking, not a dynamic. It's not how loud or soft. This one tells us that we should go slowly in Italian. That's right. Let's practice going slowly. Ready, sing, plainsies, clapsies, twirl around to backsies, right hand, left hand, toss it high, toss it low, touch your knee, touch your toe, touch your heel and through you go. Beautiful. Now we're going to do a combination of tempo and dynamic markings. So I'll show you what it is, and then we have to do it that way. So our first one looks like this. So we're going to go forte and largo. What does that mean? Loud and slow, right? All right, here we go. Ready, sing, plainsies, clapsies, twirl around to backsies, right hand, left hand, toss it high, toss it low, touch your knee, touch your toe, touch your heel and through you go. I had a brain freeze and I couldn't remember my heel or my toe. All right, good on the loud and the slow. Now, let's check out our next markings. All right, the piano symbol and allegro, which means, that's right, soft and fast. 1, 2, ready, go, plainsies, clapsies, twirl around to backsies, right hand, left hand, toss it high, toss it low, touch your knee, touch your toe, touch your heel and through you go. Yeah, great job. All right, let's see what our next combination is. Loud and fast. 1, 2, ready, go, plainsies, clapsies, twirl around to backsies, right hand, left hand, toss it high, toss it low, touch your knee, touch your toe, touch your heel and through you go. Woo! All right, how about this one? Piano and largo. That tells us to do what? Yes, soft and slow. 1, 2, ready, go. Plainsies, clapsies, twirl around to backsies, right hand, left hand, toss it high, toss it low, touch your knee, touch your toe, touch your heel and through you go. Hey, great job practicing your tempos and your dynamics with me with plainsies, clapsies. Let's review the musical terms that we have learned so far this year in second grade. Do you remember what we call this note? It has two names. We call it a rhythm name and its actual music name. We call it for its rhythm name, ta. And for its musical name, what do we call it? A quarter note. So either of those names is correct, a quarter note or a ta. How do we count it? Like, what number of sounds does it get on how many beats? That's right. It gets one sound on one beat. Good job. Let's check out the next one and review. All right, what do we call these?
The rhythm name would be tari. Very good. What about the actual music name? Perfect. Eighth notes. And how do we count them? What number of sounds on how many beats? 2 sounds on 1 beat. Perfect. Exactly. All right, let's find out what's next. Ooh, we've just been working on that this year. Do you remember what we call it for its rhythm name? We say ta. And its music name is a half note. Very good. How do we perform a half note or a ta? What's the number of sounds on the number of beats? 1 sound, but we hold it out for 2 beats, right? We go ta, and that's why we have that extra ah in there, right? Great job. So that's our half note. Okay, what do we call this guy? Do you remember? Yeah, it's a rest. What's its music name? Very similar, a quarter rest. It's the relative of the quarter note, right? That gets 1 sound, 1 beat on 1 sound, and this gets 0 beats on, and this gets 0 sounds on 1 beat, right? 0 sounds on 1 beat. All right, we just were talking about this in our composition lesson. Do you remember what this symbol's called? It's called a time signature. Say it with me. Time signature. Okay, a time signature tells us what? Do you remember? That top number tells us that we can have 2 beats in each measure. So the top number is what determines how many beats are in every measure. Do you remember what divides our music up into measures? That's right, bar lines. Bar lines are those lines that divide our staff up into measures. And our time signature says we have to have 2 beats in every measure. Do you remember what dynamics are? Dynamics are how loud or soft music is. So the dynamics we're going to be working on in 2nd grade, or that you've already learned, are all in Italian. Do you remember what this fancy F stands for in Italian? Forte. Say it with me. Forte. And forte means loud. That's right. Forte is a dynamic that means loud. So if you saw that in your music, you should perform it loudly. The opposite of forte is this symbol. And what's the Italian word for it? Do you remember? Yeah, piano, piano. And it means, it's a dynamic that means what? Soft or quiet. Yes, that's right. Tempo is, do you remember? How fast or slow the music is. Tempo is how fast or slow our music should be. So our tempo markings that we've been practicing are allegro, which means what? It's a tempo that means fast, right? Allegro means fast. And the opposite of allegro is largo, and it means slow and stately. So if you think of an elephant walking, that's a great image for largo. Let's review our hand signs and our solfege syllables for our melody singing. What is this fist that we usually hold around the level of our belly button? What does that stand for? Do you remember? That's right. That's right. This is do. Do is a skip lower than mi, and it's the lowest note that we know so far. What is a flat palm, palm facing the ground? What does a flat hand like that stand for? Do you remember? Yeah, that's mi. And mi is a skip lower than so, but a skip higher than do. All right, when you have your palm facing you and your thumb is facing the sky, we call that so. And so is a skip higher than mi. So we have do, mi, so. Can you try that with your hand signs? Ready, go. Do, mi, so. Very good. We have one note that's higher than so. It's a step higher. Do you know what it is? La, that's right. La is that step higher than so. Will you be my echo to practice a few patterns to review our hand signs? Do, mi, so, mi. So, la, so, mi. So, mi, do, do, do. Great job reviewing those with me. Well, fabulous job reviewing not just our solfege and our melody notes, but all of our musical terms. You have done an awesome job reviewing with me.
All right, so we are looking at the woodwind family today, and these are known as keys. If you remember back, our brass instruments, they had valves. They went inside, they had holes in them, and they allowed the air to pass through other slides so that they could extend the length of the instrument. So with the woodwinds, they're going to have holes in the body. And if you looked right here, we have some holes. And then the key goes down and shuts those holes. So that's how they extend the length of their tube, is by closing the keys. So this instrument here is called the flute, and it is the only one that doesn't have a reed, which we will look at here in just a little bit. So we have the mouthpiece here, or the mouth plate, the lip plate, and then we have the keys down the body. So with the flute, it is the only one that doesn't have the reed, and the reed is what vibrates on most of these to make the sound. So if it doesn't have a reed, how does it vibrate? Let's see. If I buzz into it. No, it doesn't really produce a sound. A little bit hard to do, too. So, what about if I blow into it? No. If I blow in and wiggle the keys? No. So what is different about this one is that your air is actually split by this lip plate here. So if we are blowing across it and it splits right here, the air splits and it tries to vibrate to come back together, but it can't because the instrument's in the way. And that's what actually is doing the vibrating here. So let's see if we can listen to a song and figure out what it is. Here we go. Ideas what song that is? If you said apple tree, you are absolutely correct. Great listening. Alright, so this instrument here is called the oboe. It is a member of our woodwind family, and it has keys on it instead of valves. So if you think back to the brass one that we covered the past couple times, they had valves on them that went up and down or side to side. These here are keys, and if you look very closely, you could see that there are holes underneath where those keys are, and then the key closes and it shuts the hole, and that's kind of how it changes the pitch. This right here is a double reed. We're going to talk more about the reeds here after a while, but there is a top reed and a bottom reed, and that's what vibrates to make it sound on the oboe. So let's see if we can figure out what song this is. What song was that? If you said it was I See the Moon, you are absolutely correct. Great listening. All right, so this is the clarinet, and it has keys on it, just like the flute and the oboe do. But remember that keys are different from valves. Valves go up and down or side to side, and their holes are connecting to the tubes. Well, these keys are actually covering holes. And if you look here, you can kind of see where we have some holes. My fingers actually cover those. But underneath these keys, there are also holes, and the key is what seals those. So we have holes that our fingers cover and close, and we also have the keys that the pads cover the holes, or that the keys cover the holes. So on here, we have the mouthpiece, the ligature, and the reed here. So the oboe had a double reed. This is what's known as a single reed. If I take it off, you can see that there is nothing in between here. It's just a reed. Just one single reed, one part. So this ligature, kind of like our body, has ligaments to hold our muscles to our bones and keep everything working properly. The reed has to be held onto the mouthpiece. So the ligature here is going to be holding on to the reed and the mouthpiece to keep them connected. So we're going to put that on there. We're going to tighten down our ligature and get it lined up just right so it makes its best sound. And then we're going to see if we can recognize the song. So, see if you can recognize this song. Did you figure out what it is? If you said peas porridge hot, you are correct. Great listening. Alright, boys and girls, so today we have another instrument. It's a member of our woodwind family. It is called the saxophone. So, you're thinking to yourself probably, well, that's made out of metal. It's not made out of wood. But remember that to be a member of our woodwind family, it had to have keys. So here are the keys on here, all the way through. And then we have a reed up here. So, a single reed just like on our clarinet. So, we're going to see if we can listen to a song and figure it out. I bet you can. Any ideas what that might be? If you said Ghost of Tom, you are correct. Great listening. Right, so this instrument is the bassoon. It's a double reed, just like our oboe from last time. And it's part of the woodwind family because, for one, it has a reed, and two, because it had the keys. Now, this instrument is very interesting, and it's difficult to play. This one here, this thumb, my right hand controls these four keys right here. My left thumb controls all of the ones right here. I'll let you take a look at that. All of these keys right here is all controlled by this one little thumb. Then I've got fingers up here in the front. They're responsible for all of these. And then I've got these fingers here, and they're responsible for all of these keys. So there are lots of things going on here with our hands. So they aren't really doing much holding of the instrument. They're kind of to balance it so it doesn't fly too far one way or the other, but they're not actually holding it. So the question is how do we hold it then? Well, believe it or not, this instrument here is held by this strap. a seat strap. So it hooks onto the bottom, and then you put it underneath you to sit on. That's why it's called a seat strap. If you're thinking like me, I'm thinking since this one is so big, it might also be the lowest. Let's find out. You can figure out what song this is. Any ideas? If you said that it was Ickle Ockle, you are correct. Great listening.
Now head to Schoology to do an assignment about the musical terms we just reviewed.